Let me make sure all my audio is good for tonight. Let me make sure my audio is good. Make sure everything's straight tonight. Mikey T up in this bitch tonight. What is good? What is good? We're live, man. We are live. We're going to be talking about a lot tonight, too, because we have some shocking information that basically came out with Mysonne and Troy Ave basically going at it over the last few days. That's right. We're going to be talking about all that. It's Big Mikey T in this bitch tonight. I don't care about all that other shit. Big Draco. It's Big Mikey T here tonight with all y'all. And I got some things to say because we're going to be talking about Lloyd Banks' new album, Cody 3. That's right. We're going to be talking about Wack 100, Fat Joe, Big Pun, that whole situation. You're watching Big Mikey T tonight, you guys. I don't care about Big Draco. It's Big Mikey T. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share this video one time. We got some shit to talk about. We got some shit to talk about, you guys. Lloyd Banks put out some new information about his album, The Course of the Inevitable 3. The Course of the Inevitable 3, you guys. Lloyd Banks' new album. How original of a title. It looks like he's going to stick with the mixtape format. I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight, you guys. I got a whole bunch of shit I'm going to talk about. But one of the main topics is actually Mysonne, Troy Ave. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Mysonne as well tonight. Shit's going crazy out there, though, man. Shit's going crazy. Hit that like button for me one time. I'm going to be joined with a special guest in just a little bit. I got a special guest tapping in with me for this live tonight. But I want y'all to hit that like button. We're just getting started, man. We're just getting started. We're all going to talk about the All About the Money remix that Mysonne did. Hit that like button, y'all. Just getting everything situated for the video tonight. Hit that like button, y'all. Mikey T, the movie star here. I got a special guest coming in with me in a few minutes, but we got a couple topics. Oh shit, let me make sure this is good. Live video, just getting everything situated. But we got some shit to talk about tonight. Like I said, I wanted to talk about The Course of the Inevitable, Part 3. I got these disses back and forth. Like I said, you know, I read both parts of the story. I always do. That's the way you got to do things, man. You know, Troy Ave and Mysonne were going back and forth, and it got a little crazy. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It got a little crazy. So I'm going to go over all that tonight. Troy Ave basically was telling Mysonne to stop D-riding. And Mysonne came back at him and told him, you're a coward and you're pretty You know what I mean? He said, "You're a coward." And he made some other shocking information, or he leaked some shocking information about Troy Ave apparently not attending the funeral of Banga. All right. So let me talk about it. Let me talk about it. The whole Fat Joe situation. Guess we can get into the whole Fat Joe situation first. Because Wack 100 pretty much dissed Fat Joe. And then the whole next day, he basically changed his stance on it. And it was crazy to me because it was like, what do you think? Fat Joe's not going to hear that? What do you think? Fat Joe is not going to hear that? Come on, let's be real. You got played. You know what I mean? Well, you didn't get played. You played yourself, Wack 100. You honestly played yourself. Damn, I really didn't. Oh, maybe I did. Oh shit. That. What is good, y'all? You already know what it is. Mikey T, the movie star, up in here. I'm about to roll something up. Dutchies and all that. Got a couple topics for y'all tonight. What is popping, though? What is popping? Make sure y'all hit the chat. Make sure you guys hit the chat. Let me know what's good. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm live tonight. We're talking about a couple different things. You know what I mean? A couple different topics. Also, I'm going to be joined by an exclusive co-host for the night. So Troy Ave basically said, Mysonne, stop D-riding, killer. You stay D-riding rappers. You are just a D-rider waiting outside at my fabulous life's great adventure bus and waiting outside the Apollo in the rain with a dirty coat to shake my hand. Bum ass dude. Now swear on your mother I'm lying, Muffet baby face. Gonzo nose broke dude with a boot. His cheap car activist. I'll post the picture if you play. You'll be on the Facto show. Oh my God. Nobody wants to be on the Facto show. The Facto show. Come on, man. I already told you, Troy Ave, you got the weakest podcast show out. You got the weakest name. After I dissed your lame ass podcast, your co-host came and commented on my Instagram. Yeah, I know y'all hear the disses that I'm sending out there about the de facto show. So yeah, Troy have had the record too. It's all about the money. But Mysonne flipped Troy Ave's song and he actually dissed him. Since Troy Ave wanted to release a diss on he wanted to release a diss song, Troy Ave's been releasing all the diss songs, right, you guys? Well, I'm glad Mysonne flipped that shit on him. You know what I mean? I'm really glad that he actually flipped it on him and gave him a taste of his own medicine. That actually made me go, damn, that was actually a smart business move. I'll give it to Mysonne on that shit. You know, Troy Ave has really been trying to take advantage of all the views. Troy Ave's been wanting to take advantage of all the views that come in on his page as of late. Everybody's searching up his name since Mano pretty much gave him a resurgence. You know what I mean? Mano, let's be real. Mano gave Troy Ave yet again another resurgence in the hip hop game. If we're speaking reality. Oh, why is this acting weird? All right, I gotta go on Safari. I gotta go on Safari real quick. There we go. Perfect. Appreciate everybody checking out all the interviews and shit. So we're gonna get into Mysonne's actual response because he wasn't, you know, these guys were going back and forth on each other's Instagram page. They were going back on Instagram, back and forth on Instagram. So, like I said, man, I don't just read one side. I always got to read both sides. So Troy Ave said, all the jokes in the world won't erase the fact that you have to live knowing you got your man killed because you're a coward. Mysonne cutting deep in this response to Troy Ave. You swung at a man over another man's shoulder like a coward. You sat on the stand and ratted because you're a coward. You've never even had a fist fight. The one man who protected you and lost his life because of you. You was too much of a coward to go to his funeral and apologize to his mother. You rich? How much did you give to Banga's family? Mysonne is asking Troy Ave. How much did you pay for the funeral? Your whole existence is a facade and a joke. I pity you. He said, I'm not mad at you. I pity you because you're going to die 1,000 times. I'd rather be a broke real one than a rich coward. Your soul is in turmoil, beloved. I'm praying for you because because you actually think you won. So that response was pretty heavy from Mysonne to Troy Ave. He said, your soul is in turmoil. Your soul is in turmoil, beloved. Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin, y'all? What is good, everyone? And I'm sorry to actually, pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for starting the video off like that. So corny. Trust me, I'm not going to hold up my phone and play Lord Akim. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play, oh, yes, say. But someone, please, pass me my apron. I'm about to cook. So Troy Ave's first response, all he pointed out was how Mysonne was standing outside, apparently waiting for Fabulous by his Great Adventures bus. So you're dissing Fabulous now, Troy McElroy? You're dissing Fab? What do you mean by that, Troy McElroy? Great Adventure bus? Are you dissing Fab or what? Are you not going to diss Fab, Troy McElroy? We all know Fab doesn't do diss songs, but you know what Fab will do? Fab will fuck your mom. He'll fuck your moms, and she will like it, and then she's going to come back. She's going to call him back. So either you're going to diss the man or don't diss the man. Don't do the halfway thing, Troy Ave. Don't do the halfway thing, man. Don't do that. Don't do that shit. Great Adventure bus. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Fabulous has more rides than the Great Adventures. He'll take your mom for a ride. It'll be a fast ride, too. So I'm just trying to figure out where the low blow came at Fab. And I know you're not going to explain it, Troy, because you don't want issues with Fabulous. Unless you do. Do you want street fam dudes to catch you in Brooklyn? Is that what you want? I don't know. Maybe you want beef, Troy McElroy. I don't think you do, though. I think you should have left that slick comment. You should have left that slick comment out. Now, shout out to Fab. Sometimes even known artists can't get into venues. The bouncers, you know what I mean? Sometimes the bouncers just don't know who you are. Sometimes you're not on the list. Like I said, sometimes even known artists can't get into venues. The bouncer might not know who Mysonne is. Let's be real. Sorry, your name's not on the list. Have you ever been to a show? I know Troy Ave that's happened to Troy Ave 1,000 times. I know for a fact it has. Sorry, your name's not on the list, Troy McElroy. Oh, you said it was Troy Ave? Never seen you there. Sorry. Fab didn't give us a heads up. All these different types of scenario. Oh, then they'll look. You got females with you? You got females? If you've ever been to a club, you know how that shit goes. You know what? You want to know what Mysonne could have pointed out about you? You want to know what Mysonne could have pointed out about you, Troy McElroy? He could have said, I remember when you used to sell Domino's pizza on your pedal bike. He could have said that. Why bring up some super old shit? Mysonne probably remembers that you used to do that. I know Mano does. You, Troy Ave, you come from humble beginnings. You used to be a little bitch. You came a long way, Troy Ave. You really want people to start bringing up your past? I remember back in the day, I wasn't the shit and I couldn't get into a Summer Jam concert. They didn't know who I was. Who is Mikey T, the movie star? You can't come into Summer Jam. Guys, I had to grind. I guarantee you right now, if Mysonne pulled up to a Fabulous show, he wouldn't have no problem getting in the building. Now, I want to get into some other shit that Troy Ave said. Some other shit that Troy Ave said that got me hot. Troy Ave also said, you were waiting outside the Apollo in the rain in a dirty jacket to shake my hand. So, Troy McElroy, you mean to tell me that he came there to shake your hand? Ha, ha, ha. Don't make me laugh, you little punk ass bitch. He did not go there to shake your hand. You mean to tell me he came there to shake your hand? What songs did you have out at the time? What song did you even have out when Fabulous was talking about, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Baby girl, I'm good by myself, but you make me better. That's what the shit was, right? But what did you have? My bad, Fab, for butchering that shit. That's for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, what did you have when Fabulous had Make Me Better? What record did you have out, man? When you were doing Bricks in My Backpack 2.5. What records did you have out then, man, when Fab was lighting up the city? Baby, I'm good by myself. But Troy Ave got no hit records. Troy Ave, you got no hit records. You got no hit records. And you know what? I think Manolo Rose would honestly call you out if you ever said you had any. What up, what up, what up? Appreciate everybody tapping in tonight. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you show some love to the channel, man. So anyways, let's get into it. But you make it, honestly, you're trying to make it seem like Mysonne himself specifically drove there to the venue to see you. Troy, you were an afterthought. You know what I mean? It was like, oh shit, there goes Troy Ave. Damn, I miss Fab. I couldn't get in, but there goes Troy Ave. Do you get what I'm saying? You were an afterthought. Nobody gave a damn you were in the building. Nobody gave a damn that you were outside the building. You were just there for a second, man. Come on, let's be real here. Let's be real here. I've been in this type of scenario. I've been in this type of scenario myself. You go to the joint, you link up. I actually go to the joint and I get the job done. You go to the joint, and then after the club, you meet a variety of different people. You know what I mean? Whether they're models, whether they're actors, rappers, executives, people that work at World Star Hip Hop. I've met them all after nights at the club. So Troy Ave is trying to make it seem like my son actually went there to go meet him. I'm sorry, Troy Ave, but I even turned down an interview with you. My bro, Wink Loke, CTE, was like, yo, I need you to go out and interview Troy Ave. I'm like, I'm straight on that, man. A guy named Troy Ave. Let me do my research and hit up some people that I actually know from Troy Ave and see what they got to say about the young guy, the young 50 Cent wannabe, as they said. You know what I mean? Troy, you're acting like he came there to see you specifically, man, and I'm calling you out. Troy Ave, you're acting like he's a super fan talking about his dirty coat. I mean, come on. You even just said it was raining outside. When it's raining outside, everything looks dirty. Let me ask y'all in the chat. Let me ask everybody in the chat. Have you ever seen someone in the rain that looks fresh? You ever seen someone in the rain that looks fresh? You ever heard someone say, yo, these are my rain sneakers? Don't bust jokes. These are my rain sneakers. There's people who don't even go outside when it rains. You know what I'm saying? There's people that don't even go outside when it rains because they can't get fresh. Share this video one time. When it rains outside, you're not going to bring the suede out. So if it's raining and it's snowing, nah, sorry, I ain't going to be there. Let's just call it for what it is, man. I'm not bullshitting with you guys. Whatever. It's rainy, it's wet. I can't wear my fly shit. I'm good. Let me guess, Troy McElroy. He was supposed to wear a mink. He was supposed to wear a mink in the rain. Troy Ave, when I see you, every time I see your face, I think of the Biggie bar. Silly cat wore suede in the rain. Got killed over 2 bricks of cocaine. I hear that Biggie bar every time in my head that I see you. You know why? Because you would do some stupid shit like that. That's what you do. What Biggie song was that, you guys? In the chat, what Biggie song was that, y'all? Let me know. But anyways, we're going to keep this moving to my son's response. And for the record, I just want to say, I hope Fab disses the hell out of you. I hope Fabulous disses the hell out of you, man. But honestly, Fab probably won't stoop to your level because he's probably somewhere with a bad Dominican bitch, probably with an ankle bracelet. Let me get this straight. Though, you guys, because we're about to get into my son's response. We're about to get into my son's response here. My son had said, all the jokes in the world won't erase the fact that you have to live knowing that you got your man killed because you're a coward. I had read that part, and I'm going to go over it now, you guys. That's the part we're about to get into now. So Troy Ave, all Troy Ave has to say to that brutal response from my son is, You shook my hand. You had a dirty jacket. You were trying to get into a fab show. So I really didn't even know this part that my son said, and I'm being real with you guys. I didn't even know this. And can you guys in here even believe it? I believe it now, but I didn't know it until my son said it. I never knew this. I could have honestly sworn it was a given. I could have sworn, like, of course, Troy Ave was at Banga's funeral. Of course, Troy Ave was at Banga's funeral. That's what I would say in my head. Troy Ave was at Banga's funeral. Had I known better, I would have thought, my son was capping about this, but I believe him now, man. I believe my son. And I got to say, that's crazy that Troy Ave didn't go to Banga's funeral. That is absolutely crazy that he didn't go. And my question is, why not? Why not? That is your right hand man. He got killed defending you. Why not is my question. Why were you not there? You can say all this shit. You can say all this shit to my son, but you can't address the simple facts. Giving restitution to the family. You're so rich, mister. I spend $5,700 on glass doors in my shower. Bragging about your bullshit on Matt Hoffa's show. What, did you pay for the funeral? My son says no. Did you even show up for the funeral? And you are making suggestions about where the man should be buried. You should have a little bit more respect for yourself than to say some bullshit like that. That's crazy that he didn't go to Banga's funeral. Why not? Why would you not go to your right-hand man's funeral? Why not? That's my question now, Troy Ave. How come? So not only did you not go to the funeral, then you want to tell his mom where to bury him? You want to tell her where to bury him when you didn't even pay for the funeral? You know what I mean? I get it. You're a superstar. You don't want to be there. Someone might catch you lacking. Troy, you were scared. It's okay to say that I was scared to go to the funeral. Everyone knows, Troy Ave, that you are not tough. You're not tough. Keep thinking Wack 100 is your friend, Troy Ave, and think he's going to help you. I know I'm a little off track, but I was wondering, why is Troy Ave on Wack 100's meat, you guys? You got a meat market now, Troy? Yo, my guy, Benny the Butcher, you're going to have to come and check Troy Ave because he's on a lot of rappers' meats, but he's not the Butcher. You mean to tell me, Mr. All About the Money, Mr. Go to Math Hoffa Show and tell him that you're having glass doors installed, Mr. $5,700 glass doors? You telling me Mr. $5,700 glass doors doesn't have money to pay for his man's funeral? Shout out to my son as well, because I didn't know that. Everyone really pays for their man's funeral. That is a given. My son is saying some shit that a lot of people didn't know. And another thing I want to go in on, and you called my son an activist. You're so corny. You're so corny, Troy Ave. You're just so damn corny. You're like a middle-aged white woman type of corny, man. Troy, I had to read that shit 3 times to even get your joke. It was that corny. Troy Ave, you ratted. You ratted, Troy Ave, to get out of a 5-year bid. You ratted to get out of a bid for an illegal firearm possession. The reason Troy Ave snitched and took the stand was to save himself from getting like 5, or I'll give it 6 years of jail time. And you can make all the jokes, you want about my son robbing the cab driver. My son, he's broke. My son didn't tell on his mans. My son didn't rat on his mans. He didn't do it. He took it to trial. He lost like a G, Troy Ave. Yeah, we know his history. We know his history. And now we know yours. You can learn from him if you ask me. You can learn from him if you ask me. But you want to say, oh, he robbed a cab driver. I'm going to point out that at a certain point in time, being a cab driver was honestly one of the worst jobs to have. You always hear all different types of shit about that. So Troy Ave responded. He said, not even reading this, but I saw coward and a Jay-Z line. Snitch. That's your perspective and bum ass dudes like you, but it don't matter. That's your perspective and bum ass dudes like you. Yeah, Troy, that is a perspective that many people hold now. Many people out there hold the perspective that you are a rat. You did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. You went from mediocre rapper, non-existent rapper, wannabe 50 Cent rapper, to now the snitch rapper. Didn't you see what happened? Didn't you see what happened when your buddy 6ix9ine snitched? Didn't you see what his poppy 50 Cent did? He distanced himself. Aren't you going to be mad about? Actually, you're not, because at a certain point in time, Troy Ave thought he was just as big as 50 Cent. He thought he was just as big as T.I. and just as big as Birdman. And that's why he didn't end up signing with none of those guys. He messed it up. So, and then, like, look at this. I was just talking about it. And of course, Troy Ave brings it up. He said, you robbed a cab driver for $103, a gold ring, and a walkie-talkie, and went to jail for 7 years. You're worth $15 a year, B. Like in real life, how about I snitch? Troy Ave suggesting to snitch again. I loved this part. Troy Ave was suggesting to snitch again. How about I snitch and tell the people how you ain't take your moms out the hood, you bum ass dude. Like I said, eat a dick and activate your family out of poverty like a real man, you activist. Protest these rappers in your inflatable mouth. Blow up bed mouth. Put some deodorant on them lips, you dirty ass dude. So that was Troy Ave's response to that. And like I said, you guys, Troy Ave did not address none of the major issues that I brought up, none of the major issues that my son really brought up, to be real with you. You know, and I got to also say, real original, Troy Ave, real original, man. I knew this is the angle that you would take with all of this. And Troy Ave doesn't refute that he didn't go to Banga's funeral. He doesn't refute that he didn't give family no money. He didn't give no money to the family. He doesn't refute that. He actually breezes over that and he starts talking about the money shit. I'm richer than you. He starts talking about a man's lips. How original, Troy Ave. How original. Are you guys actually following what I'm telling you? That is sus. If that ain't sus, first of all, bitches are going to be mad at Troy Ave like, damn, Troy Ave. Damn, Troy. Why are you dissing a man's lips? That's like dissing LL Cool J's lips. But I'm just going to leave it at that, to be real with you. That's the best you got, Troy Ave? After he exposed everything about you? That's all you got? Man, that was corny as hell. The best Troy Ave has is to talk about his lips and bring up the cab driver. Of course, he's going to bring up the cab driver shit. I just told you why that cab driver shit is actually thrown out the window. So, guys, Troy Ave got shut down. Since his response was, oh, talk about the money. Since Troy Ave decided, oh, let's talk about the money. Guess what my son did? Guess what my son did, you guys? He actually flipped his song. The whole All About the Money song. Y'all should go give that joint a spin. Go give that joint a play, you guys. All About the Money, My Son. Check it out. My son actually made the song better than Troy Ave. My son, my guy, and I've actually met my son in real life and shit back in the day when I was always out filming interviews and shit. Salute to my son. You know what I mean? My son, you made the song better than Troy Ave. You might want to call yourself the new P. Diddy because you're killing the remix, my guy. You are killing the remix. So we got a few more things that we're going to get into. And I got a special co-host joining me tonight. But you know what, man? We got to talk about Wack 100 really like burying himself with Fat Joe. Like he really embarrassed himself, in my opinion, with Fat Joe because of the fact that he came on Clubhouse. He came on Clubhouse and then he actually said some of the most disrespectful stuff about Fat Joe. And he actually, you know, was talking about a new deal that he may or may not have pertaining to putting out the story of Big Pun, which a lot of us are all interested in, obviously. Who isn't interested in that? You know what I mean? I think we would all like to see the story of Big Pun play out on the big screen. You know what I mean? But it just depends on who's going to do it. It depends on if it's going to be done in the right way. Let's be real, you guys. You know, let's be real. Freaking a lot of the hip hop movies have been ruined. A lot of the hip hop movies have been sent straight to DVD, straight to TV, some of the corny channels. You know what I mean? So whoever, you know, it depends on who is going to make the actual movie, in my opinion. You know, it depends on the budget of the movie. We saw what happened with the Notorious B.I.G. movie. We saw what happened with All Eyes on Me. You know, All Eyes on Me went from having the director of Training Day to having a music video director. And no disrespect to the director of All Eyes on Me, but they had the director of Training Day at first. And then there were difficulties with actually getting that out. Look what happened with Straight Outta Compton. After that, there was all types of stories of Snoop Dogg movie, DPG movie, you know, the Dog Pound movie and shit like that. All types of stories. Even the Michelet movie took off. But like I said, not all of them had the same type of energy. Some of them were actually on a much smaller scale. So when they say Wack 100 is going to do the Big Pun story, I'm just kind of thinking like, yo, that is the wackest idea ever. Why would a guy from the West Coast do the Big Pun movie? Why would a guy from the West Coast do a Big Pun TV series? What are you going to showcase there? And let's be real, he's on there talking about, what do I have to talk about with Fat Joe? What do you have to talk about with Fat Joe? Fat Joe is the one that helped bring Big Pun to the table. You know what I mean? Fat Joe is the one that helped bring Big Pun to the table. Wack said, I just looked out for New York and got the Big Pun deal done. When New York was blocking, that lady, y'all had her homeless and effed up. Someone said, hold up. Someone in the live was like, yo, hold up. Are you talking about his baby mother? Wack said, on my mom, I just did her deal. Someone said, a lot of people are going to be upset. A lot of people are going to be upset. Wack goes on, I just did Eliza's deal. It's locked and cocked and it's done. Fat Joe has been blocking everybody. I'm cool with Pistol Pete and Joe. I'll call Joe right now, Wack 100 said. I don't doubt that Wack 100 could potentially call Fat Joe. My question is, why didn't you? My question is, why stir the pot? I don't give a damn about a Clubhouse promotional. That is going to do nothing. Your little antics on Clubhouse are going to do nothing for the Big Pun story. You are embarrassing the Big Pun story. He says, I'm cool with Pistol Pete and Joe. Do you want a cookie, Wack? You're cool with Pistol Pete? You want a cookie, Wack? I'll call Joe right now. It don't matter. That's the man's wife and children. That man's story. Stop blocking them and let them people. Them people is homeless. Listen to what Wack is doing here. He's saying these people are homeless as if Fat Joe made them homeless. How are you going to say you're friends with a man and then go on to diss his name like that? He said, stop blocking them and let them people. Them people is homeless. The man is dead. You robbed them for $4 million. I seen the worst. $4 million. You never gave his wife and kids none of his 30% cut. 1.2 million should have went to his wife and kids. They was homeless in a homeless shelter. When are you New York dudes going to stand for what's right? And then he calls out the East Coast when he was just on China Mac station, and China Mac was trying to vouch for Wack 100 that he messed with New York City. You see, China Mac, that's why you can't vouch for Wack 100 messing with New York City. Because he's calling out New York City as if New York is leaving Big Pun's wife in a homeless shelter. You don't know what you're doing by having that guy on your platform, China Mac. I understand he might have showed you love. He might have showed you love in California, all that. You need to remember where you came from. You need to remember the people that he disparaged. He ran through talking about he's in the Bronx, talking about he's in Brooklyn, talking about Uncle Murda didn't want to expose Mano. And my guy, China Mac, allows that shit on his platform. If you knew better, you'd do better. And I just want to say this. What? You know for a fact, Wack 100, that Pun's wife, didn't get the 30% of the album sales? You know that for a fact, Wack 100? $4 million, Wack 100. You're very specific. You're very specific. That's first of all, you're mad specific, Wack 100. Where did you get that number from? What are you talking about? And second of all, I'm going to get brutally honest with you guys here. Because if I'm not brutally honest, and China Mac is my guy, you know what I mean? So I'm getting brutally honest when I'm talking about the Big Pun situation as well. I'm not on here to fake anything. Let me ask y'all this. Would you give someone with a substance abuse problem $4 million? Would you give someone who abuses alcohol $4 million? Guys, would you give someone who is a crackhead $4 million? Would you give somebody a duffel bag with $4 million stuffed to cash if you knew they had substance abuse problems? And guys, third, there's a number of reasons. Listen to me. There's a number of reasons Fat Joe doesn't like Big Pun's wifey. 1,000 reasons that you don't know about. And why don't you know about these things, Wack? Why don't you know about these things? You're getting told half-truths. You know what I mean? And another reason you don't know is because you're on a whole other coast. You see what happens when you're always in New York politics? This is a perfect example, Mr. 100, of why you should mind your neck. Nobody in New York wanted you to fund a movie. Nobody in New York even wanted to fund a movie themselves. Wack, why don't you ask your mans? Ask your right-hand mans to tell you about Pun's wifey. Ask him. He's a big YouTuber. Ask him. That's your friend, right? Oh, you're not friends no more? I forgot. That was last week. Well, maybe you can give him a call. Maybe you can call him up so you don't continue looking like a goofy and saying all this goofy shit. Dyson would have told you, you're crazy, son. I wouldn't give her 4 quarters in a day. But let's not talk about how Hassan Campbell knows her. That's a whole other story. That's a whole other story because he used to rob Fat Joe, right? The dude is comedy, man. But seriously, we're not going to get into how Dyson knows her. But anyways, Wack, I want to ask you, Wack, who is y'all? Who is y'all? And Wack, you don't have the authority. Wack 100, you're not allowed. You can't speak on the city. You can't speak on the Big Apple as a whole. Damn, I'm going to need to get some hard liquor for this one, you guys. I'm going to have to shout out to Crown Heights. When was the last time you were even in New York? When was the last time? Can I please get a date? Can I get a time? Oh, yeah. It was Kay Slay's funeral. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I don't recall when the last time you were in New York is. But the point is, you're not out here. And listen. And listen. New York didn't put Big Pun's wife nowhere. You hearing me? Can I put you in a homeless shelter, Wack 100? Wack, if you went to a homeless shelter, would you be like, it's Mikey T's fault? Would you be like, is CEO Reek gonna get me put in a homeless shelter? Is it CEO Reek's fault? How does something like that even happen, man? The fact that you're in a homeless shelter, it says a lot about you, Soldier Boy. You! Let's get to that. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing? Let's get to that. It's easy to have shitty catchphrases. I'm just saying, the reason that anyone is in a homeless shelter is because of themselves. I say that to let y'all know. Fat Joe tried to do right by her. He tried to do right by her plenty of times, I'd have to assume. I'm not going to sit up here and badmouth nobody. Apparently that person went through a lot, had a rough life. You know what I mean? But Fat Joe told her, don't release that footage. Don't release that what footage? What footage? About the movie? No, stupid. Not about the movie. The footage about Big Joe actually putting his hands on her. I think your boy knows something that Wack. It's called domestic violence. Your boy Hassan knows something about that. Why would you release that footage? It's going to make him look crazy. No, I want the world to see that Big Pun did this. If you guys don't remember that, I don't know what to say. It looked hella crazy. Then the footage dropped and it's like, oh shit, look at what Big Pun is doing. So as far as funding projects, you must have forgot who managed Big Pun. Guys, the main reason Big Pun was lit was because of Fat Joe. So can't nobody do a movie, can't nobody do a show about Big Pun unless Fat Joe says. You hearing what I'm saying? And that includes you, Wack 100. You can't even make a movie about Big Pun without Fat Joe. So when you ask a goofy question like, the whole New York blocked Big Pun, well, if Fat Joe isn't gonna do it, I'm not either. That's why New York didn't bother. It's not coming out until Fat Joe feels like dropping it. Shit, if he ever feels like dropping it. Look at Terror Squad. Look at Terror Squad. They're the most unloyal dudes in the Bronx. Look at Prospect. Look at Tony Sunshine. Look at them. Check them out. Look at them today. Look at Fat Joe today. Then ask yourself. You know what I mean? But anyways, like I said, I'm not here to bash nobody. Shout out to all them dudes. Because even without Fat Joe, they wouldn't be shit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You'd think they would know that. You know what I mean? But I don't think they do. You know what I mean? But I don't think they do. In their mind, they think that they hold weight on their own. So when people be like, yo, Fat Joe, you're foul. Fat Joe, you're crazy. You left Terror Squad in the hood. In my mind, he's not that foul. He realized he couldn't trust them. He probably thought, how am I going to take them to the top with me? Look at how they act. And listen, Mr. Clout Chaser, since you want to shout out KAR and Pistol Pete, the Spanish Pistol Pete for the record, since you want to shout them out, looking like a mad goofy groupie, by the way, Mr. Clout Chaser has to shout out Pistol Pete. Since you want to shout out KAR, you should know Pistol Pete is loyal to Fat Joe. Wack 100, yeah, that's right. Hassan bragged about shaking Pistol Pete's hand too, and now Wack 100 is bragging about having his phone number. Wack, you're looking for cool points, man. You're looking for cool points, just like Dyson was looking for cool points. I met Pistol Pete. I shook his hand. You want a medal? You want a medal? You met Pistol Pete. Good job. And you know what? You met him on the street. You met him on the street. How many jails you been in, Wack 100? Most people know Pistol Pete from jail. All right. I'm going to let you live, Wack. You met Pistol Pete. Congrats. And you're going to say, shout out to him. But when Pistol Pete hears your clubhouse, he's going to say, what a clown. He's trying to get the bag off of my brother's name, off of Pun's name. Wack, we all see what you're trying to do. You're trying to attach yourself to Big Pun's legacy. You want people to think of you when that series is released. You didn't even know Big Pun in real life. You didn't even know him in life, like at all, ever. You never even met him. And I don't even think you even know the words to Still Not a Player. I don't even think you know the guy's music. Maybe it's just me, man, but I can't picture Wack 100 singing No Big Pun. Let me know in here if Wack 100 was actually riding around in his cherry red car, Suge's car. You know, you ever seen Wack 100 at the Puerto Rican Day Parade? Anyone in here? Ever seen Wack 100 at the Puerto Rican Day Parade? Oh, Mikey T, he's not Puerto Rican. Well, guys, listen, that's where Big Pun used to perform. That's where Big Pun performed. And everyone was out there, by the way. Haitians, Jamaicans, white boys, Dominicans, shorties. They would wait there, by the way. They would wait there because it ain't a Puerto Rican Day parade until Big Pun's float pulls up. And I'm just saying that respectfully. Regardless of who you were and who you knew, that Wack 100, he wants to be attached to the series. He doesn't even honestly know the whole backstory. He doesn't know the amount of good faith and good intentions Fat Joe had. And let me tell you something else. Fat Joe is not a dirtbag guy. When he was younger, maybe he didn't know the business really, when he was first starting. As far as Cuban Link, he says, F you, Fat Joe. 24 Carats was supposed to go diamond. Tony Sunshine says, where's my album? Why you gave Cuban Link an album? I'm supposed to have an album. Who's the other guy? Prospect, Triple C's. How are they even going to market you, Triple C's? Even Fat Joe told you your name was stupid. It was obvious. You know what I mean? It was obvious who the star of Terror Squad was. I mean, it was Big Pun. He could wrap circles around everyone, and even Fat Joe. You know what I mean? Listen to the album, Don Cartagena, and then listen to the album after it, and tell me you can't tell the difference. And this isn't a shot at Fat Joe, but we all know who the star of Terror Squad was. Like I said, I'm just coming on here to keep it real, you guys. I'm not coming on here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not coming on here to waste my time. You know what I mean? I'm just coming on here to keep it real. Oh, my bad about that, you guys. Pressed the wrong button. Big Pun, capital punishment. That's right. That's right. Appreciate everybody tapping in tonight. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Excuse me for that little delay. So Wack said some extremely corny shit here, you guys. Let's say Jim Jones signed to Fat Joe and Jim Jones died. Jim Jones contract 70-30, right? Fat Joe. Every $1 million come in, $300,000 goes to Jim Jones. When Jim Jones dies, he got his wife, he got his kids. That's not for Fat Joe to keep the money. Woo! And guys, something must have happened. Fat Joe must have put that call in and scared Wack 100 straight, because Fat Joe, he doesn't play around with his name, you guys. Fat Joe does not play around with his name. And Wack 100 wants to come on here talking this type of shit. He says his wife and kids in a homeless shelter and you won't give them a dime. Are you kidding me? You have the audacity to say that on the internet? And then in the next video, call Fat Joe your friend? His wife and his kids in a homeless shelter and you won't give them a dime? What is we talking when she comes to LA? When she what is we talking? Then she comes to a LA dude, a Valley dude. She says, Wack, this is my problem. They blocking. The building want to do it, but they don't want to ruin the relationship with Fat Joe. So yeah, that's what they're trying to spin here. They're trying to spin the narrative. They're trying to actually spin the narrative that Fat Joe is telling these people and these labels and these movie companies, let's say a Netflix or any other company that could really put Big Pun's movie or his series on a forefront. He's telling them, if you do business with them, I will not do business with you. And that is just some of the craziest shit to say about Fat Joe. You know what I mean? I don't think if the opportunity presented itself that Fat Joe would ever deny to do something like what they did for, Pac or Big, or what they did for the Wu-Tang with the series. You know what I mean? I don't think Fat Joe would ever deny something like that to happen. So for Wack 100 to actually come on the internet and say Fat Joe was doing that, like, that is one of the most dishonorable things. That is one of the biggest disservices that you could even do to our culture, to say that Fat Joe would do something like that. I still remember going to Club Mansion and seeing Fat Joe face to face, but that's a story that we'll save for another day. Wack 100 said they don't want to ruin the relationship with Fat Joe, and he's repeating what Big Pun's wife allegedly told to him. We're doing a deal because Wack told us to do the deal. The woman started crying. 4 years they've been blocking me, Wack. The whole New York didn't want to help me. I had to come out here to Cali, and the one who said doesn't like New York made my deal happen in 48 hours. And the one who they said doesn't like New York, after he gets the deal done, what does he do? He proceeds to call out New York and say, look what I did while y'all were blackballing her. He takes shots at New York. How disrespectful. But honestly, man, even in Cali, even all the way out in Cali, dudes are like, wait, you're out here looking for a deal for Big Pun? Where's Fat Joe? Is Fat Joe not involved in the project at all? Okay, we're good on this. We're good on this. That's the majority of people's response to all this news. You know what I mean? We have a deal with Wack 100. Wait, what does Wack 100 have to do with Fat Joe? What does Wack 100 have to do with Big Pun? Oh, I understand, Miss Rios. Wack 100 is in your back pocket. So now Wack 100 has Miss Rios in his back pocket, and he's making money off an artist that he doesn't even know, you guys. And now he's going to tell us about Big Pun. You just love making movies about people you don't know and people who don't mess with you. Hey, Wack, when is your boxing bar movie coming out? That's honestly your MO, Wack 100. That's how you give it up, Wack. You wanted to do a movie on Baby Lane. What's up with your Baby Lane movie? Can we get an update on that, Wack? Where's that Baby Lane movie, Wack? You know, the guy that's known for allegedly killing Tupac? You didn't know him either, Wack. Oh, what about the Troy Ave movie, Wack? What about the Troy Ave film? See, Wack, you let Showtime get to the bag on the 6ix9ine joint. You missed out on that one. You let Showtime get the 6ix9ine documentary before you. Did that block your bag, Wack? Is that where you got your idea to release movies on rats? You release movies on rats and you want to do movies on corny ass people. Let me get back. Let me get that Baby Lane movie. Let me get the Troy Ave movie. Because these stories are just so interesting. And here Wack 100 goes again. She was in a shelter. New York turned their back on her. Very next day, shout out to KAR. I don't have problems with Fat Joe. Scared straight? Did you get that call, Wack? Fat Joe is my friend. Oh, really, Wack? Well, guess what? Not anymore. Not anymore. He is not. I got his number. Cancel him. Not anymore. He is not your friend. You can't call him now. Can't call him now, you little punk. You know, I just don't think he's your friend anymore after that. I could actually bet money that he is not your friend anymore. And you're just dumb because, you know, just because someone is cordial with you, it doesn't mean that you're friends with them. You know what I mean? You're a dumbass for thinking that, man. Everybody that you think you're cordial with, you think you're actually friends with. So Wack actually backpedaled like crazy. You know what I mean? Wack said, I don't have to speak to Fat Joe about shit. No, we're not there yet. He actually was still dissing Fat Joe here. I don't have to speak to Fat Joe about shit. Who is Fat Joe when it comes to the daughter, the son, and the wife? Think about your family. You're dead. Your wife and kid are sitting here, and every building Fat Joe is blocking because of his influence. I just can't believe Wack 100 said all this. He's getting the money and won't give them their cut. She took them to court, found out 4 million came in and 30% should have went to his lady, and he kept the money. How you think she ended up with the catalog and the rights? When the attorneys and the judge seen that, they said you got two options: pay the woman her money and start paying her when it comes, or turn it over and sign off. So basically, right there, it's like pay the what they were saying, $1.2 million, 30% of every million is the very specific facts that Wack 100 gave us. So you could pay all the money that had come in, and then you can also pay them as the money continues to come in. Now, a lot of people would say, well, you know what? Big Pun's career, honestly, Big Pun's career is 25 years past. You know what I mean? It's been 25 years since or nearly 20 years since we've had new Big Pun music. What type of residuals are still coming in? Which is why I think it would be, a move to relinquish. You know what I mean? A move to actually relinquish the ownership at that point, because you've already collected a shitload of money. You know what I mean? You've already actually collected a bunch of money, and I highly doubt bigger money will be coming in. But that's why Miss Rios, now under the ownership, apparently, I haven't read all the paperwork, you guys. I haven't done a video on that yet, but now Miss Rios has the opportunity to actually sell it all on her own. She has the opportunity to put out a movie, put out a series. I'm not sure how all that's going to work when it actually comes to when it comes to actually having to use other people in it. You know what I mean? I'm not really sure how that's going to go. So anyways, so Wack is saying they found out 4 million came in and 30% should have went to his lady. So then the judge gave two options: pay the woman her money and start paying her when it comes, or turn it over and sign off. Do you guys hear this idiot? I don't have to speak to Fat Joe. Well, technically, Wack, you're right. But on the flip side, don't you think it would have been a good idea? You also said you got his number. You also said he's your friend. As you said, maybe you should have hit him on his phone and say, "Hear me out. This is Wack 100, the game's friend. Hear me out before you start spazzing. I'm trying to broker a deal to get Miss Rios a movie. Well, a series. And I'd like you to play a part in it too. Do I have your blessing? Even if you don't want to play a part, do I have your blessing? I don't even want any proceeds. It's all about the family, right? You don't think it was a good idea to do something like that, Wack? Fat Joe has to find out about this through Clubhouse. Oh, that's right. Fat Joe's not on Clubhouse. He probably found out from Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete was like, this Pyru dude from Cali is doing a movie about Big Pun. Fat Joe probably responded, who? Which Pyru dude? A movie about Pun? Oh, word. What a snake. It's Wack 100. The dude who's supposed to be my friend. What a snake. He didn't even tell me, Mr. What the fuck do I got to talk to Fat Joe for? So what? What are you saying? Fat Joe is a nobody? That's your friend, but you don't value his input? Well, guess what, Wack? Guess what? He's not your friend anymore. You know what? And that's how you ruin relationships, because you're an inconsiderate bozo. And it's so Troy Ave like. No wonder you are cool and friends with these dudes. Who is going to watch a show about pun without Remy? Who's going to watch a show about pun without Fat Joe? Cuban Link might even look at you crazy, like, I'm not being a part of this. Oh, shit, that's right. You and Cuban Link are actually beefing. You did say to Cuban Link, F you. I'm too busy. F you. I'm busy. I'm too busy for you, Cuban Link, because the bag wasn't big enough. You didn't tell Miss Rios F you because the bag was big. But you're not going to do the show proper. I already know. You're not going to do the show proper justice. Whatever station it's on, Amazon Prime, maybe Netflix. I doubt Netflix. You know what I mean? Because you don't really have that kind of pull. People are going to be like, Wack 100 is doing this. Wack, anything you attach your name to, it's like poison, man. Anything you attach your name to is like poison. Do not put a 100 ENT production presents, because that is when everyone is going to stop watching the production. Power button, mute button, channel, click, change button. I want to watch something else button. Why is Wack 100 producing a TV show on Big Pun? It makes no sense. Maybe if he did a game show, it'd make a little bit more sense. Power button. That's when everyone, like, honestly, we see Wack 100 has something to do with. We're not watching that shit. You know, it's going to honestly irk people. New York doesn't jack you, Wack 100. Where are the most Big Pun fans from? I understand Big Pun gets love on the West Coast, but most of them are here on the East Coast. Name me one Big Pun song with a West Coast beat, you guys. Name me one Big Pun song with a West Coast beat, you guys. I'm going to wait. Now we're going to get into the second response. Yeah, I don't think there will be a Troy Ave movie, bro. Honestly, if anybody wants to ask any questions, send a super chat. Make sure you share this video with at least one friend. That'd be dope. You heard? Make sure you share this shit with at least one friend, man. Let's get back into it, though. Wack said, listen, Wack was backpedaling. Wack got scared straight, like that show that 10 Toes Down was telling me about. Wack said, listen, a lot is going on about this Big Pun situation. A lot is going on about this Big Pun situation. Wack standing up to Fat Joe. I've never had a conversation with Fat Joe about Big Pun. Business of Big Pun or nothing. Or nothing like that. The last time I seen Fat Joe, we were at Prime 112, 25 deep, and he covered the whole bill. That's the game's friend. He's been my friend. Shout out to Cool and Dre. Whatever was going on prior to, I wasn't privy to that knowledge. What I do know, but I want to cut in here. So the last time you seen him, you brought your whole dusty team with you, and he bought you all steaks. Listen, Wack, he doesn't mess with you. He messes with the game. Wack, he doesn't know you from nowhere. He doesn't respect your gangster. This is the same guy that Suge Knight approached at the award show And everyone there thought Suge was going to, go in on Fat Joe. But he actually said, yo, Joey Crack, I like the way you rep for the East Coast. Suge wanted to let it be known that he liked Fat Joe. You know what I'm saying? He let it be known that he actually liked Fat Joe. Let's keep it real, you guys. While they were riding on Puff Daddy, Joe Crack was good. Suge Knight walked over to him and told him that. Fat Joe had his whole section empty for the remainder of the night. Nobody went near him because they didn't know what to think. They're thinking, is it beef? Is Suge Knight going to be waiting for Fat Joe afterwards? Your boss, Wack 100, your boss told Fat Joe that. Mr. I don't gotta talk to Fat Joe. Your boss talked to him like a real OG. A real Pyru OG. But you don't. Of course you don't, Wack 100. So he bought, let me get this, he bought your whole dusty ass team stakes just off the strength because he messes with the game. And what do? You didn't tell him, you didn't run it by him. Yo, Joe, what's up with Miss Rios? Would you be open to doing a show? You want to know what you did is called, Wack? What you did is called being a snake. The man never did no BS to you, and you go behind his back and do some corny shit like that? And for what? You did it for a bag. You did it for money. You don't value networking. You don't value connections. You just value money. And that, honestly, I'm going to say it, man, that's mad shallow of you. You have no depth to your character. You know what I mean? 6ix9ine paid you and you just started representing him too. I'm just saying it, man. That's sad. That's sad, man. That's sad. We all know. And then, like I said, you missed out on that Showtimes deal, so you're a cornball. Excuse me, you guys. I just had to text back some people. So Wack said, Big Pun's wife came to see me. Eliza told me she was looking for a situation that would be healthy for her. Big Pun's a part of the culture. His story needs to be told. What? Oh, thank you. Thank you for telling us that, Wack 100. We would not have known that Big Pun's story needed to be told unless you let us know. Come on, man. You're not the one to tell the story. You're not the one. I don't even think you have the rights to tell the game story. You know what I mean? I think 50 actually does. Excuse me, guys. I was just handling things in regard to my co-host coming in. So Wax said, what I did do is line up a situation that is healthy for her. I reached out to my team, and there's definitely a Big Pun series coming. Listen to me, Wack. Listen to me, Wack. You lined up a situation for her. What's in it for you, Wack? If this is all for the love of the culture and his story needing to be told, again, I ask if this is for the love of the culture. Is this really for the love of Big Pun's story needing to be told? Then why are you getting a cut? You're not doing this for free. We all know you're not, Wack. How much is your cut? I'd actually respect you more if you said it was about the bag. I'd respect you more if you said it was about the bag, man. I'd respect you more if you just said, I don't care about the legacy, because we all know you're not from the Bronx. You just decided one morning to line up Miss Rios with these producers because it's for the love of hip hop. Yeah, sure, Wack. Sure. Your name is not even brought up in any hip hop conversations. You're like a male Wendy Williams. Rappers don't even talk about you. Actual people that rap your name, they don't even, people who diss you, they won't even say your name. They diss you, they won't even say your name, man. Nobody even gives you credit as a manager. Nobody ever says, I got this dope new artist. You know who I should get to be his manager? Wack 100. Wack 100. Let's be real. Here, your name isn't even brought up in hip hop conversations, man. So you can't stop the whole shit. You know what I mean? You can't stop nothing. Your pull. How is your pull anything? Your last associated project was Drillmatic and Blueface. You know what I mean? You didn't even make an impact in hip hop, man. But you know who did? Your boss did. Death Row President, Big Simon, not you. Not you, Wack. Big Simon, but y'all might know him as Suge Knight. You know what I mean? I gotta say, even 50 Cent would not do some shit like this. Imagine 50 Cent went and did something like this. Imagine 50 Cent did this. Even 50 Cent would be like, yo, Fat Joe, I want you to be a part of this. It wouldn't even feel authentic. 50 Cent would probably tell Fat Joe. It wouldn't even feel authentic if you weren't a part of it. I'm going to scrap it if you don't want to be a part of it. We can put it on Stars, Fox 5. Maybe we can do it documentary style. But even 50 wouldn't have did that. He would have said that's clout chasing. Let that man tell his story. Wack said, I wanted to kill the narrative like there was an issue with Fat Joe and Wack behind Big Pun. Fat Joe never mentioned to me he had an issue with Big Pun. As far as I'm concerned, he wants to see Big Pun and his family win. The Fat Joe I know, Fat Joe is a friend of mine. He might be on Rolling Loud. What? I'll run into him somewhere. Let's kill the narrative that Wack stood up to Fat Joe. Shout out to Fat Joe. The whole KIR Big Pun series is coming. It wasn't you standing up to Fat Joe. It was you saying the most disrespectful shit out of your mouth about Fat Joe. I never heard nobody say that type of shit about Fat Joe besides Cuban Link. You know what I mean? You don't hear nobody saying that type of shit. You didn't even hear 50 dissing Fat Joe saying that he stole money from Big Pun. You didn't see 50 going to Miss Rios and putting her on when he was dissing. You know what I mean? So you're just doing some wild shit. And Wack, here's my thing. Wack, you're a gangster, right? Why don't you just say F how they feel? I'm doing this show. Why don't you just say that? Why are you pussyfooting around it? And why now are you making sure that you don't insult nobody? Wack, I'm asking, why are you on your best behavior? I thought you were tough, Wack. What happened? Why are you on your best behavior? Thought you were a big bad Pyru. Why don't you have the approach of, I'm going to make this show regardless? You're saying Fat Joe and I have a good relationship, but I'm pretty sure you don't now. Oh, Pistol P and you are cool? Probably not anymore. Go get him on your clubhouse. See how that works out for you. But now you can't even get Cuban Link on your clubhouse. New York, Wack, New York doesn't jack you, man. What's wrong with you? And then you say that bullshit. I'm sure Fat Joe wants the best for Big Pun, the best for his family. And you want to know something else, man? Fat Joe even invited Chris Rivers out to perform. And I don't think he actually went to perform. He told him, I'm good. Fat Joe tried his best to do the most that he could for them. Fat Joe didn't want people to be like, oh, damn, Diddy is foul. He didn't want it to be like that with the whole Diddy's foul. He took Mace's money. He didn't want that narrative surrounding him. Fat Joe didn't want that narrative around him, you guys. First of all, Big Pun died. All the money that the album sold, he can't give to Big Pun because he died. Big Pun's wife had a lot of issues. I'm just going to leave it at that. Joe tried to set it up in a way. You know what I mean? He tried to set up in a way. If it got screwed up, it got screwed up, apparently. But I just got to say, it seemed like Fat Joe had good intentions. You know what I mean? You can't say Fat Joe is a dirtbag. That's one thing you can't say. No one in the chat is going to say it. You know what I mean? Fat Joe fought for 10 years to get a street named after the man. So this is, you know what I mean? So when you walk, you can actually see, you know what I mean? When you walk in an area of the Bronx, which you could never walk in Wack 100, you look at the street sign and it actually says Big Pun Plaza. You couldn't do something like that though, Wack 100. If you told the mayor, I want to rename Slauson Blueface Lane, he would laugh in your face, Wack. He'd laugh in your face and tell you to get lost. That's what he would do. So my next topic is actually Lloyd Banks and his new album, Cody 3. That's what we're talking about now. Are y'all excited for that? Let me know in the chat. Lloyd Banks' new album, Cody 3, The Course of the Inevitable 3, Pieces of My Pain. How original of a title. That's actually my first issue. You know what I mean? Pieces of My Pain, Cody Volume 3. I'm just wondering, is this going to be more of the same Lloyd Banks? You know what I mean? Are we really supposed to be excited? You know, the last project, to me, it wasn't that good. I don't see the big fuss over this album, to be real with you guys. The last Cody was a good one. The first Cody was good. The second one, it was kind of like too much of the same. You know what I mean? And I had an issue with the originality of it. And this is volume 3 of Cody, The Course of the Inevitable, because he added another 3 words to the end of it. He decided to add another 3 words to it. And you know what those words are? Pieces of My Pain. Was the pain with G Unit or after G Unit? Because the album only moved 12,000 units, the Cody joint. I want to bring up the fact that Lloyd Banks actually linked up with Method Man for this one. So Banks actually has a feature on this joint, you guys. The song is actually called 101 Razors. That's the name of the single. I'm not sure if it's really getting spins on radio due to the fact that it's really it's an unfriendly radio title. You know what I mean? But the internet seems to be loving it. Everybody on the internet seems to be loving the collaboration with Lloyd Banks and Method Man. So I want you all to check that out. And if you have heard Cody 3, I'm going to be checking it out. So, just to see if it's more of the same. You know what I mean? I see what Banks is trying to do here with this formula of albums. You know what I mean? He's trying to kind of do it like he did with the mixtape series. But honestly, I need something different. I need a variety. I don't want to just hear more of the same. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to need from Lloyd Banks. I like the effort that he's given putting these albums out. But come on, we need a little bit. You know what I mean? We need a little bit different material. And some people might say, why wasn't Lloyd Banks mentioned in the top 50 list? Some people might say, shit, Lloyd Banks isn't in my top 500. You know what I mean? At a certain point in time, it just seemed like people actually lost interest in Lloyd Banks. He's been ice cold for like a decade, and he's not really making the singles that are going to save his career. He's kind of just he's making, rap records and shit like that. And it's nothing like he had at the beginning of his career. Like, if you look at the difference between Hunger for More and the Rotten Apple album, he had On Fire, but it also had something to back it up with I'm So Fly. Then he also had Warrior on there. With Rotten Apple, he had Hands Up. Then he had Cake. He had no real support record like I'm So Fly, and I think it reflected in the sales, and I think it reflected in people actually losing interest in him. It's a number of factors. Some people actually consider Banks a little boring. You know what I mean? The fact that his character does nothing for him, and when they actually tried to give him a little bit of momentum and character, when they attached the name Blue Hefner to him, and nothing really came from that. He had 2 joints called Playboy that I don't think many people were into. So so Lloyd Banks' character is another issue here. You know what I mean? Any type of interview that Lloyd Banks does, you know what I mean? It's kind of like watching paint dry on a wall. He just doesn't really have that it factor. It's maybe just his personality type, but that really doesn't help in his favor that he's not really all that social, in an industry like this is where if you don't network and be social, you're looked at like a deadbeat. You know what I mean? You got to really look at that type of a situation when a dude is just around so many different types of people that can really position him in the industry. And we've seen this happen many times. I've known artists like this. I've interviewed artists like that who have told me they didn't take advantage of all the opportunities that they were given, But in going to check out this album, the Cody 3, there's going to be some people who don't care about the album. There's going to be some people that do care, saying the last album was fire. There's people who enjoy it, but it's the people who enjoy the underground music, really, because like I said, he's not catering to that old sound that he did. It's going to be the underground fans, the underground music, the people that think Soulja Boy and the Migos aren't hot, the people who think Big L was the punchline king. Those kind of people will be into it. But in 2023, how many of those type of people are actually there? I'm not saying Banks is whack, but I'm not saying he's great either. And I'm going to leave it at that, man, until we go a little bit further talking about the top 50 list. I'm planning on doing a little bit of that with a panel of guests. That's right, you guys. I'm planning on being joined by a panel, and we're going to break down the top 50 list 5 by 5. Actually, we're going to do the top 25. We're just going to focus in on the top 25. And then we might even do the top 25 media, guys. But make sure you stay tuned to me in my videos, live videos, man. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. And I will holla at y'all soon. Peace.